welcome to Arise Africa, this first Friday of the month of May. How are you doing? I hope you're good. All right, I am Chichi Nwabo, and with me is Torishe
Bogwa.
Bogwa
Boy.
Boye Macanthony. Only you. With all these plenty names.
It's not even. I think Boye. If you hear a checker man answering Boye, you know that there's something wrong. It cannot be 4 letters. So maybe another day I'll tell you the full name.
Oh mon Dieu. I hope it's not going to be one
It's
long.
very long. Okay, in short, let's cut the chase. Oromokele Boye wa.
Oh mon Dieu. What was that? I love African names.
It's always good.
I really love African names.
always
And of
great.
course, Chichi is
Yeah.
And and you don't even know my surname. The
Okay.
full one is
Okay.
Wabompa.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's so beautiful.
It only happens in Africa.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But that one was a pretty long one anyway.
Okay. We
And
like
that's what I like about African names is it's always meaningful.
Yeah.
We
does.
always want to attach a happening to it.
Yes.
The families believe.
Beliefs and all, how God has helped
us.
and all that. Some persons, for example, I heard a name yesterday, Rishebu Bemi. That's
Okay.
a Checkering, and I mean like God answers my prayers.
Prayers.
You get, and a lot of the time, most of the time, some names are born with how probably that pregnancy took place. You understand? Maybe it came after a while of waiting on God, and also most of the time it happens like that.
It actually
really
reminds
different
me
for
of a
different
particular name in Igbo land. When you hear Ada, it actually means that's the first daughter.
Daughter, yeah.
The first daughter. So automatically, even if you find that you get to know a first daughter in Igbo land, if you call her Ada, she will answer.
She will still answer.
Even if it's not the real
actual name,
the name she answers.
yeah.
It's so
Great.
really interesting. So
Great.
welcome to a new month, and
Yeah,
how's the
May.
month been for you?
It's great. I think the holidays helped a bit as well. We were able to rest this week. At least I was able to rest a bit, and then the rain just, it just started coming, and it's not so nice. And then power issues. We've not had lights for I don't know how long. We saw a glimpse of it yesterday,
Don't talk about
We
that,
saw a glimpse
please.
of it yesterday, but it stayed like an hour or so, and it wasn't nice. And guess what? The voltage was low.
It was
It's crazy, but it's Nigeria. So.
in my area. I don't think I've seen light for a couple of
And
weeks now.
everybody's complaining about it, and I think the government needs to do better.
Yes.
And I think now the elections are forthcoming, and some persons will use it as campaign promises yet again, and
Like a cycle. So we could actually go on and on, but we've got to go straight to business, and
Yes,
that's
we do.
talking about a newspaper review.
yes.
So
And for today, we'll look at the Sunday Punch. Okay. Is that the Sunday Punch? It's not the Sunday Punch. Okay, that's the Guardian for Monday. Buhari silent on varsity strike. The regulation as workers boo in Gige. That's the main header there. And it says government hypes regular salary payment as fit, and then end ASU strike or will mobilize students to truncate your presidential ambition. Southwest Lands tells Nwajibo. And then challenges Osibanjo to match words with action by settling ASU FG face-off within 7 days. Reps Minority Caucus laments workers' fate. Trap TPAPM urges workers to unite and take over power in 2023. And then there's it's funny story there. It says police ban political campaigns at Gombe Kwara prayer grounds. And then scrap electricity privatization now. Labour tells government. Wow, that's a very huge statement. And I don't know what Labour wants to happen.
Mm.
Should the government start running the business again?
So what was the difference between when the government was
Running it, and
running it and now?
I think the government still have a bit of hold on the power sector. They've
It's not
still not
even totally
privatized
privatized.
exactly. So
And
I
then
think
there's quite a number of inter regulations. Like they are not totally generating. I don't know how they organized it, but I'm well aware that they have to depend on
another,
another,
yeah,
the
and it's
discos have to depend on
the
another
other
body
body
to do
exactly
that
to
and
do their
just like
work and
that.
all.
So
It's not nice
I
at
think
all.
the whole thing has to be totally rearranged and do I say overhauled and rearranged, for more effectiveness because we've heard this for a very long time. You still looking at any
No, no,
stories?
no, no, no.
And
Let's go
so
to the next one.
let's move on to the papers for Tuesday. And the major header for this day newspaper for Tuesday says Akeredolu to Buhari, a Southerners turn to produce next president. It's Southerners turn to produce next president. Okay, talking about the zoning system, unspoken agreement, more or less, maybe written. I don't know, but I think it's unspoken as far as I know. Don't keep party waiting. Rotational presidency. Okay, I've got to see clearly rotational presidency, legal, constitutional, says Bamidele. Clark insists on Igbo presidency, accuses North of oppression. And then you also have right there underneath. Okay, I think you should take
Okay,
that.
I think it says
Okay, I can see
U.S.
it now.
Supreme.
Weren't any Southerner agreeing to be vice president unpatriotic? Okay, and that's Akere Dolu to Buhari. And we got peace on the mind. So I can see very interesting picture. But I think I'll go up there and see what the paper is saying. What does it's saying up there?
It then says UN scribe,
Scribe,
and then says
Guterres,
Guterres. It
the
says
Bonu
Bonu I
I found
found
today
today
is one
one
of
of
hope.
hope.
Okay, Techo seek upward review of voice call SMS data services cost. What are they saying? That's always on page 42. So what are they saying? Are they saying that it's going to, they want it
They
higher or
want it.
what?
They want to increase. I think about 40% by
40%.
40%
Okay.
of the price, and that
What
doesn't
we're
work.
paying.
Yes, 40% already, and
And
right now
we're
we're paying a lot.
complaining. We're complaining of what
We
we're
already
paying
paying
already,
now,
and they're
and now
saying
they want to increase it, and
uh,
it's not nice at all.
okay, so we'll move on to Nigerian Tribune.
And then
Okay.
Nigerian Tribune, it says Clark Adebajo, Obiozo, and Tonef. It says dumping zoning will kill and then bury Nigeria. God will show the way. Lawan on purported presidential ambition. I will hand over to anyone Nigerians elect, Buhari says. And then um, the next of there says 10 killed, 23 rescued in Lagos three-story building collapse. Four 4-year-old female and then female corps corps member among casualties. That story is in page 27. And then you see a gunmen strike again in Anambra, kill policemen, 6 other. You get, and this is one crazy reoccurrence. And then at the top there it says World Press Freedom Day, media freedom under attack in Nigeria, say editors. And then wants FG to make newsprint broadcast equipment consumables tax free. All right, and then FIFA fines Nigeria 63.9 million for fans misconduct after Ghana match. All right, let's go to the next
And then we
paper.
have Thursday's paper. It is The Nation. Tinubu, many presidential aspirants good for democracy. Okay? And then it says Ashomole Fayemi Akpabio join race. Jigawa governor picks nomination form. PDP OK's exclusion of two contenders. All right, that is the major header for the nation newspapers. And NBA chides a federal lawmaker of a no ransom payment bill. Okay, and I think
That's
that's it for this paper,
go to the
The
next
Nation.
paper. All right, and then this is actually the Sunday Punch that we were expecting, and then it says PDP shuns lobbyist speaks Abuja for convention. Party to reveal disqualified aspirants after Monday appeal. CSOs ask EFCC, ICPC to probe groups buying funds for politicians. Wow. Yeah, everybody, there seems to be no money in town, but a lot of persons are buying funds for
Mm.
politicians. Such patriotic uh, guys we have in the country.
I have my personal opinion about that, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to say it here.
All
So,
right, thank you. Say we won't reschedule papers. Jam wants candidates, and then political interference, inconsistent policies, frustrating refineries, repairs. Okay, that story is in page 36. I think that's all we can take for this one. Now
okay,
let's go
so
to today's
we're moving
papers.
on to Friday, and Friday it starts with Nigerian Tribune, and it says why APC power brokers plot to jettison zoning. Okay, and the it says push for northern candidate gathers momentum. South has ruled for 13 years in the Fourth Republic, says ACF. No Igbo politician should run as VP candidate in 2023, says Ohaneze. The story is on page 19. And then you got Amosun declares presidential ambition. Oshibajo Namani Bakare pick nomination forms. And that's the stories on page 19. All about politics. NEC approves new electricity tariff. They're approving new electricity tariff and they're not giving us electricity. We don't see it. We've not seen it for weeks. Every time we hear we're
Months, some persons
increasing,
months actually.
every time we hear we're increasing, and we don't see the electricity. I mean, if you had to pay for what you see, if you had to pay for what you use, you'd be very delighted. You'd know that okay, I'm using it. I'm supposed to pay for it.
All right.
Not when you don't see it.
All right, let's move over to what's on the screen now. Nigerian Tribune, that was there,
I
and
I
it
think
says,
I've okay. There's another Nigerian
yeah,
Tribune.
yes, and then it says the APC power brokers and then plot to jettison zoning, then push for northern candidates, gathers momentum. Uh,
I think that's what I took.
okay, that was what it took.
That's
Oh,
what I
I
took.
totally forgot. All right, so the next paper then. Let's go to the next.
And
I'll
that's the
take the
punch.
punch. Okay, the
The nation.
nations actually. All right, the nation, and it says ACF leaders South should stop issuing threats over zoning. And then its president or nothing says Ohaneze. Wow, and then that's like I think that's the Arewa caucus forum or something, and they are trying to say no one should threaten them
Mm.
as per the zoning of the presidency into this part of the country. And then at the top there it says OPEC raises Nigeria's production quota by 19,000 BD, and then it says Abuja Kaduna train service set to resume. No NIN, no tickets. Wow. Then payment of helicopter landing fee begins Monday. And then Senator Basiru leads Oyetola's re-election campaign. All right, and then there's a picture of the president arriving at Ebonyi State.
Okay, so we're
Actually,
going to
yesterday.
quickly run through the remaining papers. We got a Punch 2023 consensus plan unsettles APC. Protesters
Okay.
warn against imposition. And then it says aspirants number hits 30, 12 pick forms, and Mosul unfolds 6-point agenda. Pro-Tinubu groups warn NWC VP supporters target ticket via consensus. Zoning, you have no monopoly of threat. ACF replies, Southerners Akeredolu. That story you can find on page 2 and page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government take over Bonny Medical Sciences Varsity, says Buhari. I think we'll check out the next paper, what it says.
All right, the last paper, and it's the Guardian newspaper, and it says Buhari in Ebonyi. Igbo leaders demand Southeast presidency. Kanu release. I think, and then waking technical education from the doldrums. Then why Southern politicians scamper for presidential tickets. INEC restates June 3rd deadline for primaries as Osibanjo, Bakari, and Amosun pick nomination forms.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. All right, I think we'll probably
That's all.
be looking
That's
at
all.
going to the next segment.
Yes. All right. That's all we can take for newspaper review. And yeah, when we return, we'll head on to the virtual streets. Arise Africa will be right back. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to Arise Africa, and we've come to the interesting segment. We've got to know what's up this time around. It's something that you probably identify with, something pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
let's talk about
You know, this very first one is very funny because
Okay.
at least a lot of us have been there at a point in time. I think this is actually a core member, someone that just finished NYSC. You know, some said just passed out, and he said, and he went up to say, Bolas Funky, he say, after finishing your NYSC, it will look as if you lost a job. And I tell you, like, after that free 33K that you are getting for probably for
Yes.
some, and then some persons too, they work with some companies where they still get other stipends and all that. It's always great
Always.
until when it is done, and then you know that, oh, the life really, really gets thicker.
So let's check
that's
out what
people are saying.
the response, what people are saying with regard to what has just been posted. Okon Faith, Omo, thinking nearly finished me that year. I kept on asking, where do I go from here? What happens from now? But here we are, and thanking God for being God in our lives.
Honestly, it's a strong wake up call. Actually, He said that Ufeli Chris Ifeshuku says no be lie. E go just be like say you don't fail in life. He said now why it's good to plan ahead of time. Also learn necessary skills and be good at it. Way go they bring money. Very important. You
Very,
get.
very important. Galati Enyinda says, because you will not be chopping alawi again. NYC offers you the opportunity to work and chop small alawi. But after service, you will now realize that the full meaning of the acronym was, now your struggle continues. Looking for job will now become your job.
Yeah,
Oh, pretty
crazy.
interesting.
All right, and then to the next, it says Sarah Taylor essay Apie Akonedo says school no be scam. School can never be scam, but it's advisable that before you enter school or during school, try learn a skill because Nigeria is not for us. Know this and know peace. Where wisdom must be applied, miracle is not needed.
Okay, all right.
I think that's all. That's all for this time. And then the second one, it's a very intriguing story. I think myself and Chicha have been going over it, and I was asking her if she can do it. But then let's find out. It's about an OAP that's an OA personality that proposed to the boyfriend publicly. So she defiled. How will I put it? Defiled the normal culture of the fact that the man actually proposed, go down. So she actually went down on her knees and then asked for the man's hand
to
in marriage, and
marry.
it's I
I think
wish we could get the
I think
video.
it was done in a mall.
Mall, yes,
At a
yes,
mall rather.
yes, it was.
Yes.
It was on.
And with people watching. And
Everyone was
it
sharing.
to me it's like cringe worthy. Like I was wondering, what if the man said
No,
no? What if
the
he
man
had
is
said
men
no?
are always great people, unlike some.
I was kind of analyzing,
Yeah.
the whole situation. Like, maybe she wants to pass a message to us. Maybe she wants us to change the narrative. But it's going to be a very difficult one. We're used to the man making the proposal.
Yeah.
Telling us, "I want to marry you," and all that.
So,
For me, I feel that's what the Bible
so
tells us.
so it got
The man has
everybody.
to find us, and now she's doing something different. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why. It
That's why
went
it broke the
viral.
news.
That's why
Exactly.
it went viral.
It did actually, because that's like first of its kind. She actually went on her knees. I saw the video.
Not first of
I
its
saw-
kind, though.
Okay,
I've
I
seen
think
quite a number of them.
of them.
And I checked it out. In foreign countries, it's something that's usual, normal. A woman could
But I
ask
don't
a
know.
man
I
to
don't
marry.
know. I
But
don't
in
know.
our culture, it's sort of an aberration. Like it's not.
I don't know, Chichi. It doesn't sit well with
I
me
was
at
shaking
all.
like a leaf. I was
All
like,
right, so
God.
let's find out what people are
What
saying.
if she was rejected?
Olalekan Samuel says, since the guy refused to do the needful, auntie helped him to do it. Probably they'll be dating for a while, and you never can tell.
Alma Janelle Ogonna says, my question now is it the lady marrying him now? How sure she is that the guy is prepared for the marriage?
This is my big question. What if the guy is actually not ready?
Then why date a woman for years if you're not ready?
Okay.
You have to be ready. Oh.
But then, a lot of the time, but we've seen ladies even turn down proposals and say, I'm not ready yet, or whatever. But then, anyways, Ogbeide Clinton says, did she die? Okay, this is like saying that this guy is advocate for women to ask men out. Okay. All these ladies shying away from this. Later, you'll be fighting for gender equality. If I kneel to propose to a girl, make I bend. Oh. All right,
Okay,
move on to
so
the next.
Comrade Omeje Peter Madweke. Any lady who tries this act on me will pay the bills attached to it, since we don't respect the nature and the traditional right anymore. Social media has a big influence in our society today. I don't encourage this funny act.
Okay. Some Tochuku Joshua, it says, most men are reasonable. He might not be interested, but respected the fact that she did it in public to save her face, and he said yes. To be continued in private, but the other gender with a short memory will disgrace you and your family right there.
I've seen a number of men disgrace women as well. So it's vice versa. Kutori Tis Dongale says, very nice when women when woman does what a man can do, they can ask for more, hoping to see when women will start paying bridegroom prices and taking the bridegroom to a home to live together. In a possible.
Now, that's a big one. Oh.
It is not possible.
Peter Sahon says, you proposed to him and he said yes. That culture is not African, not even Western, I guess. It says the man is the one that proposes.
It's rampant in the western part of the world.
It's a big question.
It is rampant in the western
anyways,
part of the world.
let's get to hear your thoughts on that. Who is supposed to propose? Maybe that's another topic for another day. But when we return, we'll get to the crux of the matter.
Absolutely.
So ensure you join us after we come back from the break.
I am really excited today. You know what? Because Mama helping you. I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right.
Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Obish-Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Today it's going to be all about the Word of God. Welcome to another episode of Soul Connect.
That you will set the captives free because the anointing is on you and you'll be a Holy Ghost troublemaker.
Because when you hear something and you say something and you'll do something, you'll receive something.
God can transition you to a place of influence and impact by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Join us on Soul Connect on the African Broadcasting Network, showing live every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African Time.
With the Brian, the Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club. Mega prediction: Chelsea and United. It's Arsenal this weekend and Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African Time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
welcome back to Arise Africa. And like you know, we've come to the crux of the matter. We want to talk about something significant. And today it's all about journalism. It's all about the press. Of course, you know, this week was World Press Freedom
Freedom.
Day. That's earlier on in the week, and the subject of discussion was all about the press, all about the media, all about journalism, all about investigative journalism. And today I have a guest virtually who's going to be linking us up with us to talk about, you know, Nigerian journalism moving towards the digital dimension. He is someone who's been in the communication and journalistic field for about 25 years. He's a journalist, an author, and a communication specialist that is based in New York. He is Mr. Williams. He's Williams Ekanem, and we're so delighted to have him right here with us to talk about Nigerian journalism moving towards digitalization. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the
So,
welcome, sir. Good to see you again after the was it Easter
a couple
or
of
the
months. No,
Yuletide?
it was. I think it was
during
Christmas.
Christmas.
It was Christmas, so I can as well say Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New I like that.
Exactly.
So let's begin. You've been in the field for many decades now, which I'm well aware. I believe it started with Post Express newspapers, the defunct Post Express newspapers. So let's start from the beginning. Like, what is traditional journalism?
Well, thank you so much. Like you have said, it's been a long journey in this chosen area of mine because I remember it was an area I intentionally wanted to belong. It's not an area, like some people, they just find themselves in somewhere. Traditional journalism could be, how do I put it now? Depending on where you are, you look at the newspapers, you look at the radio, television, agency news, and we also have what we call tribal model. You remember in the villages, they say how they communicate in the villages. It's very traditional. Then we have the magazines, and all these, you can use the terminology mainstream media.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. So, one question I want to ask now is how has the digital age redefined journalism right now, and how it what it actually means over the years and everything that we've noticed. You know, even right now, a lot of persons will no longer go to the newspaper trying to hold the hard copy, which we are all used to. So how has it changed so far?
Yes, there's been a dramatic, I don't know the best adjective to use, but a substantial change between traditional journalism and digital media because right now there's a big shift, very big shift in how and where people get their stories, get their news. You know, there's a
Okay.
big shift from the traditional media, which we just define as radio, TV, and newspaper, to digital and online publications. So this change is maybe because of the how rapid you can get news on digital medium rather than in newspaper magazine. I was looking at your press review. You were still reviewing, for instance, papers of Tuesday. And
Yeah.
digital media, it will be very difficult for you to even go back as far back as May 1. Today is May 6th. So
Yeah.
this rapidity,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a look at some of the merits and demerits of, do I say, digital journalism. You know, a lot of issues, a lot of challenges, the downsides, the better, better things it has actually brought with regard to journalism.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, there are a lot of, like any other thing in life, there are two sides of the coin. And some people in one school of thought will tell you there are more benefits than downside. Whereas some others will tell you, well, that the downside is much more than the benefits. But looking at it with an objective mind, like I was trying to point out, found out that with the digital media, they have this instantaneous news. You know, you just get the news. It's called citizen journalism. You get it on the spot, on like kind of on the screen reporting. You know, you don't have to go through all those process to be able to know what's happening. You know, the rapidity, the instantaneous nature makes it very, very advantageous. You know, then it's also cost effective. You know, I don't know how much Guardian or Proof is sold now, but I'm aware it's not that cheap for everybody. Whereas if you have everybody has kind of a phone these days, so all you need to do, even if it's just reading the headlines, is to surf on your phone and you see what's going on at least for that day and for that time. So the cost effectiveness, the rapidity, the instantaneous nature of digital media gives it an edge. But like I said, maybe in another time we can also look at the downside.
One of the downside, at least just one, of the digital media at the moment.
Oh, there are so many downsides because, for
Mm.
instance, very importantly, the trust. You know, trust in what is being read or what you are seeing or what you are reading has kind of gone down. You know, people don't really have trust in. For instance, you see something on Facebook, which is at a dimension of digital publication. It's neither here nor there. You also need to confirm it from other credible people. So trust is a very big thing and also very important for for the practitioners. There has been great loss of jobs. Great loss of jobs. People have lost their jobs because of the transition mostly from traditional media to digital media. Most journalists that remember those, I was looking at your history of journalism, those cop reporters that may not be able to be media savvy, you know, technological savvy. Some of them had to go home, you know. So those two, let's look at the trust. There's been an issue of trust in digital medium because, like I said, it's citizens journalism. People get up and just post, in most cases, whatever they like. There's no censorship. And most of these practitioners, so to say, are not even trained. They just wake up from their bed and post whatever they feel they should post.
So to add to probably like a question I need to ask, like a follow up for this is, um, with the advent of the digital media, a lot of these postings and all that, we've noticed that a lot of times we cannot really, like you said, the trust issues. How do one really, will I say, verify most of these news? Because it's important, because a lot of stuff are just out there. So how would you suggest that one actually follow up and then actually verify most of this news as regards being in the digital space?
Yeah, that is again, like I was trying to say, when where the um, mainstream media comes in. For instance, if there's a story you see on Facebook or whatever, and you've not seen it in any of the mainstream media, then you are likely to put an asterisk on that story. You know, because you now use putting it very straightforward, we now use the traditional media to kind of fact check the digital media, because if you see, or when you see the same story, for instance, you read in Facebook, continue using Facebook, for instance, because online thing, they always end up in Facebook or Twitter. When you see the same storyline in either Guardian or the Punch or the Nation, then you know that there's an air of credibility. But when you just see one stand-off thing that you don't even know where it emanates from, then you like I said, raise question on that. So a very good way of checking the credibility or veracity of publications online is to see, is it published in the traditional media? Do they mention it anywhere? Then whereby you don't see it, then you have to treat that type of story with a pinch of salt.
Stories that were actually done in traditional, media, traditional newspapers, and then it turned out that they actually, it was actually called from some of these sites, right? I cannot tell you exactly, okay, but I know that so far the digitalization of do I say journalism has probably affected, do I say, a bit the credibility of these, would I say, the traditional media. They've been affected. So I want to know, how do you see the Nigerian, because we're talking about the digital dimension in Nigeria. So how have you seen our traditional media adapting to, this digital explosion, especially in Nigeria? Have they adjusted? Are there some areas they're lagging behind? Are there some things you think they should do?
Yeah, I think there's been quite a high degree of adjustment, because it reminds me of when I was with the Punch newspaper. And then was when, like, the beginning of this online age, and the management then, the owners of Punch, were very, very reluctant to go online. They say it will affect sales. But right now, the paper review we're doing, I saw Punch there. I said, wow, these guys have since changed. So there's been a big move. We're talking of, you can imagine my history, where I'm coming from. Amen. So we're talking of a big move. There's been a huge shift in not just relying on the traditional newspaper. The traditional newspaper now want to adjust by combining both their physical copy and the online copy. For instance, my phone, I subscribe to, is it subscribe? Because I did not pay anything. I can read this day, the entire this day, if any day I want, anytime I want, the entire copy of this day. So they have been able to combine, bringing the entire production, the entire pages, they just dump it online, and whereby you cannot, like in my case, I cannot have a physical copy of this day, for instance. I can as well go to online and solve. So they've been able to digitize most of the things, most of the pages, though in most cases you don't see ads. Then they also been able to make it not just being online, but also being on mobile devices. Talking about being able, not just reading it on your desktop, but also on your phone and wherever you are. And also, one very good way they've also been able to adjust is constant updates, constant updates, constant updates. So much so that they are able to take care of the breaking news. They are able to incorporate the breaking news, because if, for instance, the paper had gone out by 6 a.m., 5 a.m., whatever time, and there's a breaking news by 10 a.m., then they just have to update. Then they also there's all this use of captivating titles, though most people call it sensationalism, but then it's also a way, with the high traffic flow, of being able to attract attention to the publication. So I would say to a very large extent they've been able to adjust.
I want to ask now, probably before we also go further and round off the show, is if we look strictly on this data journalism, strictly, one basic question now is for those persons that are even trying to adjust into this the fold, trying to follow up, especially most of the traditional guys, what will you say are their challenges that are being encountered currently?
You mean those that are trying to move from traditional to digital?
So digital as well, yeah, probably incorporating it and all that. What will you say is the how will I put it now? The challenges of digital journalism in Nigeria.
The challenge is one of what you were just talking about, power. You know, I was able to listen to you guys, the two of you, talking of when last you had power. Chichi was saying she does not even remember the last time. So when you can't even charge your online system, you know, then how then it's counterproductive. So poor power supply is a very big challenge, number one challenge, very very big. Then there's also this lack of, like we start where we started, lack of objectivity. You know, it's a very big thing because as we people just get up and write anything. You know, people just get up and write anything. So it's a challenge because getting up to write anything affects the credibility. And when it is not credible, people you can't get people. Then besides all this, there's also this invasion of privacy, usually known as hate speech. You know, hate speech is a very big thing in online media, digital media, because like what we said earlier on, some people don't even have any basic training. They just think anything should go, you know, garbage in, garbage out, and it becomes a very big challenge. You know, then it's also very dangerous, very very dangerous, because some online platform, before you know it, they've graduated to like a kind of lynch mob behavior. You know, like over here, okay, we remember what happened with all the things we are passing. Okay, let's not even talk about the SARS riot back home in Lagos. You remember, if you look at it, the part of why it spread so much was, you know, people being able to write and push in whatever they can push, and some people believe it, some people do not believe it, and before you know it, they were able to mobilize such a great crowd, and before you know it, some people ordinarily who wouldn't have been there, they went there, and this mob lynching kind of thing happened, and they were shot dead, and people died. So there are a whole lot of challenges. That's why, for instance, over here, many people die of COVID because of the misinformation or negative information that was, you know, being brought out by the online medium, because there were people who were out there just to make sure that they counter whatever narrative that was being given by the scientists.
About digitalization of journalism. It was like two-sided thing. You said the advantages, and the quick news, fast news, timeliness and all that, and then on the other side, on the flip side, you have the fact that it's mostly citizen news, it's mostly about activism, and it's mostly about subjective news. Okay, so that means it's two-sided. So in your own perspective, finally, how do you think? Because now the citizen news, it's good. Yes, a lot of untrained people are going into it. They're getting followers and all that. It's a game of numbers. But on the other hand, it's misleading. That's where you have fake news. That's where you have hate speech.
Yeah.
And the rest of that. So going forward, what do you make? What do you think regularize? What do they call it? Regulations? You think there should be regulations? You think it should? There should be something to be able to handle this, so that what we have out there are really the right things, as in true.
Yeah, there's a saying that language is the window to human behavior. Language is the window to human behavior. Having said that, education comes to the fore because, for instance, why education? What a primary school dropout
Okay.
the people out. Then
Yes.
besides that, there also should be, like you rightly pointed out, some rules for digital media so that someone do not just wake up or does not just wake up and send anything to the public. There has to, I don't know how it will be done, but there has to be a little check and balances because, like we normally say in journalism school, that freedom comes with responsibility.
Have one of our guests. We came in a bit late, but he is Mike Ikogu, the NUJ, Nigerian Union of Journalists, chairman for Delta State. You are welcome. It's good to
Welcome,
have you on
sir.
the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so let's
Just a last word.
So we're kind of a bit like behind, so we're going to wrap it up quickly. We're going to ask you, what do you think about the fact that we're now moving, Nigerian journalism is now moving beyond traditional journalism to the digital dimension. So what's your view?
No, it's like my colleague have said, it's a welcome development, and what everybody needs to do is to just follow up with the speed of light so that you won't be left behind. And I want to say that the rate with which the traditional media has embraced digital journalism is quite commendable because that is the intent. If you want to be relevant in the present communication world, you have to be digitally up to date. So I think that is a good thing that we are all embracing the digital world.
Question: since you are on ground, unlike
You are in
Mr.
Nigeria.
Mr. Ekanem is not around. He's in New York. So that you that is on ground. One question I want to ask is, how will you rate our own journalists, especially those of them that are actually practicing? At least you get to meet with a lot of them on like a day-to-day basis and all that. How will you rate their adjustment to this new digital wave?
I think for the traditional media that has embraced the new media, as it were, they are doing well. But my major challenge is the bloggers, the unprofessional players who have also taken the media space. They are the people who are causing the major problem for us because some will not even care to know where a source of story is coming from. As soon as they get it, what their interest is to share it and ensure that they get traffic. It's a major problem. But for the traditional media, the gatekeeping process has to take effect. There's no how a reporter will get his story, write it, edit it, and publish himself. No, it was passed through the gatekeeping process before it gets to the public. But for the social media players, the challenge is that they are the reporters, they are the editors, they are the editor in chief, and they are the publishers. So it becomes a problem. If, peradventure, a blogger has issue with an individual in the society, he can just go on the social media and just publish whatever he feel he want to do there without anybody looking at what is putting out there. That is the major challenge. We meet them always in the course of our job, and when you tell them the right thing to do, the ethics of journalism is thrown to the wind Nobody observe it. The objectivity is not there. The fairness is not there. They will hear one side of the story and push it out there, which is against the ethics of journalism practice, as it were.
I remember a few years ago, I think there was an incident that was happening, that was taking place, and I came to you, Mikey Kogo. I came to you, and I saw how thoroughly you treated the issue. I remember you said, now we got this perspective, we've got to get the other parts, you know, but that, like you said, that's not what obtains when it comes to a lot of these digital platforms, because it's more or less, like I said, subjective. It's more or less activism, like it has to suit their perspective and what they believe, which is very, very sad. So, and that is not, that is like the citizens not being fed like the right information. So I want to ask you, would you say that some sort of regulation should be put in place? There's some sort of ways to be able to see that this is limited, this kind of happening where you have people putting out all sort of stuff and people saying all sorts of things, you know, with regard to, I think it's more like emotional response to some of the stories. So what do you say about that? Should there be some sort of regulation? I asked that question previously to our other guests.
Yes, I will offer regulation, but you know, Nigeria is a place where some policies that they bring to bear will now be used against the media itself. That was why when they came up with it about 2 years ago to bring out regulation, the media practitioners resisted. The Nigeria Guild of Editors, the NUJ, and the proprietors also said no, that will amount to gagging the press. But for me, there should be regulation, and that regulation must not be brought up by the government. The practitioners should come up with a kind of regulation, because if we leave government to do it, they will go beyond the measure of trying to regulate the media space, and they want to use it to gag the press. I think in other climes like China, there are some regulations that people cannot just go to the Facebook and do whatever they want to do there and go away with it. Another thing I want to say is that the cyber law is there. If the media bloggers, social media tigers goes there to malign anybody, you use the instrumentality of the cyber crime law to pursue such an individual. That will act as a deterrent to many who want to go the way of such publication without really verifying your source of news. So the regulation is the right way to go. But who is to regulate? If you leave it for government to regulate, they will clamp down on the media space, and nobody will practice freely. If there must be regulation, let it be done by NUJ, by the Guild of Editors, by the newspaper proprietors, so that they will know the extent of regulation that they put out there. If you allow the federal government or the state government to do it, believe me, the media space will be clamped down.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's all. That's all. I know you have so much to say, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back again.
We really do hope to get you back.
For another time for such
unfortunately,
a conversation.
I'm going up. I didn't know why you didn't get me on time. I'm here since waiting for you.
So see, hopefully not another year. We'll see you this same year, Mr. Kanem. All right.
All right.
Thank
So I really have to thank you. Me.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to thank you, Mr. Mikey Kogu, NUJ chairman, Delta State. It wasn't easy to get him here on the show because he was going to be away, but I insisted. And then, of course, William Sekanem, a communications expert and a journalist of more than 25 years. So it's really, we're really grateful for taking our time. So I guess we're rounding up quickly.
Yes, we are. I had to just adjust my cap and then let you know that we've come to the very end of the show. And thank you for staying with us as well till this time. And then also, one thing I want to let you know is just be mindful of what you try to get, especially when it comes to the online space. Try to verify the information. Not everything there is true. That's the fact. So you just make sure you try to verify the information before you put it out there. And remember, Arise Africa is open for sponsorship. And so do well to reach out to us and also follow us on all our social media platforms. Also, and that's all we can take for the show. I am Boye Mark Anthony. And with me
I am Chichi Nwabo.
And together we say bye for now.
Today is going to be all about the word